Well, I'm profoundly concerned about what happens if Kamala Harris wins, because I think the track record of the blue team, Kamala Harris's absolute failure to protect us from a clearly demented president, tells us that she's not really on our team. And so I take very seriously statements that suggest she's interested in mandatory gun buybacks, censoring people that she doesn't like what they're having to say.
Imagine it's 2025. America has chosen its path, but what path did it take? In one version, the country is led by Donald Trump, with a focus on deregulation, individual autonomy, and a promise of economic freedom. In another, Kamala Harris leads with a vision of equity, healthcare reform, and expanded government oversight. Each path brings different values and risks, and today we're diving deep into these contrasting futures with one of today's most insightful thinkers. What happens to our freedoms, our economy, and our core values if Trump takes office? How does America change if Harris assumes the lead? Are we looking at a country that values rugged independence, or one that focuses on collective responsibility and government support? Joining us is Brett Weinstein, evolutionary biologist and cultural commentator. Known for his bold insights and dedication to truth, Brett will help us unravel the core values shaping each candidate's platform. Together, we'll explore the urgent questions this election raises. How will Trump's vision impact our liberties and global stance? And how could Harris's policies reshape our economy and social fabric? As we break down these two futures, we're not just looking at policies. We're examining the very essence of America's identity: freedom versus control, growth versus caution, unity versus division.
Price controls, what she calls equity, all of these things, if you extrapolate out, are something the Republic can't take 4 more years of an incremental move in these directions, much less some sort of step function where, because we're now playing in endgame dynamics, this thing is ratcheted up rapidly after the election. So I don't think the success of the Harris campaign could be really any more frightening. It's about as bad as it could be, having nothing to do with Harris herself being a distinguished creature. I don't think she is. I don't think she's special, but I do think she is partnered with a parasitoid that literally embraces all of the worst ideas simultaneously, worst from our perspective as a people. As far as what happens if Trump is elected, we can hope that Trump is wiser than he was the last time he was elected, and that he realizes, so a couple things have changed. One, he's been through an awful lot in the intervening time. He's been hounded with lawfare in the courts. He's been shot at. He's been through a constant campaign to portray him as things other than he is. This may have created a wiser person. It could also cause a person to become deranged. I don't see the sign that he's deranged, so I'm hopeful. But the other thing that has changed is the Unity Coalition is now an entity. We now recognize each other, and lots of people have accepted the cost of admitting that they are going to vote for Trump, or thinking of voting for Trump, or are open to voting for Trump. What that means is that if he wants to avail himself of it, he has this incredibly deep bench of highly skilled, courageous, patriotic people that he can put into positions to figure out how we're going to prototype and navigate our way out of this cul-de-sac and to somewhere new. My greatest hope is that he is elected, and that's what he does. And the fact that he is partnering with Elon Musk, with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., with Tulsi Gabbard, suggests that he is of this mindset. My greatest fear is that once elected, the utility of that partnership may not be as obvious to him, and that he could be either led in a bad direction or might have an instinct to jettison those obligations, and it could be terrible. So anyway, I'm hoping that the Unity movement will understand itself as something other than a support force for Trump. The Unity movement should support Trump if he is doing things that are in the interest of solving the nation's long-term problems, and it should function to pressure him if he starts moving in some other direction. So that's where I am. To me, it's very, very simple, because the one side involves so much peril and the other side is a wild card, but the potential for greatness is there. And I'm not sure that there's anything more one needs to know in order to figure out how to interact with that.
Which vision aligns more closely with the America you believe in? Which values will guide our country, and what will we be forced to sacrifice along the way? This election could set the stage for generations. Will we look back on 2024 as a moment of strength and renewal, or a turning point toward a different kind of future? Today, we'll uncover the potential outcomes, the risks, and the rewards. Strap in. The stakes have never been higher. As we stand at the brink of another monumental election, America faces two diverging paths, one led by Donald Trump, the other by Kamala Harris. Each brings unique promises, risks, and values that could reshape the country in profound ways. Today, we'll explore what life might look like under each potential leader, drawing insights from renowned cultural commentator Bret Weinstein, who offers a unique lens on these possible futures. To begin, let's consider the foundational values Bret believes should guide us. Values he sees as essential for any successful democracy: integrity, accountability, liberty, and transparency. According to Bret, these values are critical not only to our political landscape, but to every aspect of our society. He argues that without accountability, public trust collapses. Leaders must align actions with words and face real consequences when they betray this trust. He emphasizes the importance of transparency. If we can't trust what we're being told, how can we make informed decisions? Then there's individual liberty. True freedom isn't just about theoretical rights. It's about having the practical ability to exercise those rights consistently. This spans everything from freedom of speech to privacy, from personal health choices to freedom from excessive surveillance. Bret believes that liberty should remain a central pillar in shaping policies that impact everyday Americans. Beyond values, he stresses the need for a feedback loop of accountability. Policies should be tested and adjusted based on clear, honest data. Without transparency and a track record of what's worked or failed, Bret argues, we're flying blind, unable to correct our course based on real outcomes. So, what might a Trump-led America look like? If Trump wins, we could expect a renewed push to reduce regulations, promoting more freedom for businesses to operate and innovate with fewer government constraints. His administration might seek to restore aspects of government order and reassert national autonomy in domestic production. Proponents argue that deregulation could provide a stronger economic foundation and more personal autonomy. But critics worry that this approach might deepen existing divides within the country, challenging the resilience of our democracy. Economic policy under Trump would likely focus on reducing corporate taxes and encouraging domestic production, aimed at driving economic growth. Supporters believe this could bring about unprecedented gains for American businesses. But there's an underlying question. Would these economic benefits truly trickle down to everyone? Or would they primarily serve the top, leaving middle and lower income Americans behind? In terms of health and safety, Trump's team would likely advocate for policies that emphasize personal choice over sweeping mandates. Supporters see this as a respectful stance on personal health decisions, but others fear it could create disparities in healthcare quality and accessibility. America's health landscape might shift toward greater freedom of choice, but potentially at the cost of uniform standards and protections. When it comes to cultural shifts, Trump's approach presents a unique challenge and opportunity. He has the ability to tap into a grassroots movement and diverse voices across America, offering a vision that many find compelling. Yet unity requires engagement beyond his base. Will he engage with a broader range of perspectives, or continue a more polarized path that doubles down on his core supporters? Now let's imagine what a Harris-led America could look like. Her administration would likely focus on expanding government roles in various areas, such as healthcare, equity initiatives, and climate reform. For her supporters, these policies represent a commitment to addressing systemic issues and building a more inclusive society. However, increased government control raises questions about the balance between societal betterment and personal freedoms. Does greater oversight ultimately protect or infringe on individual liberties? Healthcare would be a key focus under Harris. Her administration might implement policies to ensure broad healthcare access through more stringent mandates aimed at bringing equitable care to all Americans. While some view this as a necessary step toward making healthcare a universal right, others fear it might cross into government overreach, restricting personal autonomy in the name of public welfare. Another focus of Harris's approach is equity. Her administration would likely emphasize policies that aim to redress historical imbalances through government programs and initiatives. Supporters see this as a means to level the playing field, but critics worry about potential resentment or division if redistribution efforts aren't managed thoughtfully. Some view this pathway as a step toward a fairer America, while others see it as an infringement on personal property and freedom. In conclusion, this election brings two starkly different visions for America's future. Under Trump, we might see an America focused on deregulation, individual autonomy, and economic freedom, though potentially at the cost of deeper cultural divides and economic disparities. Under Harris, we may see a government that seeks to expand its role in healthcare, equity, and societal oversight, aiming for greater inclusivity, but raising concerns about overreach and individual liberty. Each path presents profound implications for the nation's values, freedoms, and future. The question remains, which vision aligns more closely with the future Americans want to build? As voters, we face a defining choice in the coming days, one that will shape not just the policies of the next few years, but the core values we uphold as a society. Like and subscribe to bring good luck and blessings for your financial future, and get this crypto bull run going.